Hey, beautiful mamas, we're back. Grab your favorite mug of coffee or tea. Maybe it's the one you reheated 3 times because mom life. And let's settle in for a heartfelt chat. I'm Amy, and I'm so sorry for the delay in getting this episode out. My hands have been full with kids, diapers, tantrums. The little one has started that. You may hear her in the background of this episode, but anyways, and all the things that come with kids. It just we've been busy lately, but also on top of that, I've been diving deep into a bit of a big decision. I am a little over halfway done doing my degree, and I've decided to go back and finish it. But I'm also exploring possibly changing my major at the same time, kind of, looking at all my options. And I've been looking at different pathways into becoming a certified financial planner. And there's a lot that goes into that, right? Obviously, because as we've talked about in previous episodes, I'm not a fan of debt. So I've been pricing everything out so that I can just pay it, right? No debt, no student loans, no nothing. So there's a lot that goes into that. So I've been busy with that, but I am thrilled to be back and continuing on our money journey after tackling subjects like budgeting, building emergency funds, and crushing debt. And we also did that special episode, right, for the Canadian mamas, all about Wealthsimple. Well, today we're diving into investing for all of us, American and Canadian mamas alike. This episode's a bit longer because there's just so much to say about investing. Accounts, strategies, and rules differ across the borders. And I want to cover it all. I'm going to do my best to add in the American stuff, even though I'm not an American, but I've done a little bit of Googling and spoken to some American friends. And I'm certainly going to do my best to incorporate that in this episode. We know life's demands are swirling, prices are up. Investing during all that is like planting seeds for our family's future. So, Mama, let's sip our drinks and grow our wealth with love. You're already amazing, and I'm here to cheer you on. Since we've been building our financial foundation, and I've been juggling kids and college plans, let's start with why investing is a game changer for moms. Investing means putting your money to work to grow over time. Funding dreams like your kids' college, a family trip to Disney, or a cozy retirement. Unlike saving, which keeps money safe but grows really slowly, right? Those banks often only offer like a fraction of a percentage in interest rates. Investing uses compound interest to outpace inflation, or at least that's the goal. Without it, your savings loses value, like milk going bad in the fridge. Stocks, bonds, or funds can beat inflation, but they carry risk. So we'll start small and smart. For American and Canadian mamas, rules like taxes and accounts differ, but the goal is the same, right? To secure a future. This step is like mapping out a family road trip. Knowing why keeps us grounded. Now that we're inspired to invest, much like I'm inspired to finish my degree, let's cover the basics, like teaching your kids the ABCs before bedtime stories. Investments can come in a few types, right? So there's stocks, which just means owning a slice of a company like Amazon, riskier, but generally with a higher potential return. Bonds. Those are that means lending to governments or companies. They typically are safer, but you often get a lower return. And funds like ETFs or mutual funds, which means you're pooling money for a mix of stocks, bonds to diversify. Low-cost index funds, like those tracking the S&P 500, are typically a mom-friendly choice for both Americans and Canadians, due to their low fees and the fact that they help you diversify your portfolio a bit more. You definitely want to balance your risk based on your timeline and also what you're comfortable with. So that's just kind of the basic overview of investing, right? Your investing basics. And it's no different than like packing a diaper bag. Having the essentials, having the basics helps you feel prepared. All right, this is where I'm going to separate things a bit. So I'm first going to start with the U.S. mamas, right? The American mamas and what accounts that they deal with. And then I'll go into the Canadian mamas. So since we're getting, more specific, right? We just tackled the basics. Now we're getting more specific. Just like how I'm researching CFP programs, let's break down accounts for American mamas because where you invest is as crucial as what you invest in. Keep in mind, I am not an American citizen. I do not have access to American accounts. I've only can present what I've done research on. In the U.S., from what I've learned, tax advantage accounts are your allies. A 401k through work lets you invest pre-tax dollars, often with an employer match, but not always. And hey, employer matching, that's free money. From my understanding, it's up to $24,500, but do not quote me on that. IRAs, individual retirement accounts, are great for retirement. They have a lower limit. I think it's like $7,500. And you can choose from a Roth IRA, which is tax-free withdrawals. If you expect to have like higher taxes later when you're ready to retire or when you're going to be pulling this out. Then they have things like for your kids' education, they have a 529 plan, which grows tax-free for college costs. Regular brokerage accounts offer flexibility but face capital gains tax. So be careful there. I know there's currently a proposed U.S. tax change, which could raise withholding taxes on Canadian investments. So you might, depending on what you're comfortable with and the return and all that stuff, you might look at more U.S.-based stocks, but that's up to you, right? These accounts, picking an account is kind of like picking a stroller. You need to pick what's going to fit your family's needs. Okay, so nobody can really tell you. I'm not in a position to tell you, especially because I'm not as educated on the U.S. accounts. I'm not in a position to tell you what accounts to select. But pick the accounts that make sense for your family. Maybe you need something for your kids' college, and then you need something tax-free, or maybe you want to have the 401k kind of built where you get some employer match. Whatever the case may be, do what fits right for you and your family. Okay, now let's shift to Canadian mamas. Because your accounts have their own vibe here in Canada. I mean, they're very similar to U.S. accounts in a lot of ways, but they're very different. And these are the ones that I know because I'm a Canadian mama. I have all of these accounts. Well, the only one I don't have is the RRIF, right? The Registered Retirement Income Fund, because I'm not at that stage of my life yet. But anyways, let's kind of go through the Canadian accounts. I'm just going to do kind of a quick overview on the accounts. Each account technically needs its own episode because there's just so much with the rules and regulations and what the account can be used for and how you can benefit from it. That it's impossible to throw it into this episode, but we'll just kind of go over kind of an overview of each account real quick. And then maybe down the road, I will do a proper episode for each individual Canadian investment account. So let's start. RSPs, right? Those are the ones that most people are familiar with, the Registered Retirement Savings Plans. They're kind of like the 401ks in the U.S. They let you invest pre-tax dollars with a limit of 18% of your income. But you can look on your MyCRA, right? If you go into your MyCRA online account, and you can see how much your contribution room is, because it'll be based on last year's taxes, but it also will include any room you did not use in previous years. So you might be allowed to put on a lot more in, this coming year. So definitely look on there, because everybody's amount is going to be slightly different. And that's true for the TFSAs as well. They technically have a limit per year. I think it's like 10 grand. Do not quote me on that, because some people say it's $7,500. But my advice, again, is go onto your My CRA account and find it. It's in the exact same place as your RRSP information will be. The TFSA is in there as well, and it'll tell you what your contribution room is. Quick thing, again, this can be addressed in a full episode when I do each individual account, but just do not go over your limit. That's all I'm going to say for now. Do not go over your limit. But anyways, let's get into the TFSA. So that's a tax-free savings account, right? They're fairly new. I mean, they're not new. They've been around for a while, but they're new compared to other accounts. They're super flexible. You can do short-term, long-term savings in there. It goes in there. It doesn't get you any kind of like refund on your income taxes per year because it's tax-free, but you also don't pay taxes when you pull it out. So that's wonderful there, right? So it's perfect. Well, it's perfect for any type of investment, really. Then there's the RESPs, the Registered Education Savings Plans. That's, boosting your kids' education savings plans with government grants. So you'll get government grants in the account up to, I want to say $500 per year, which is wonderful, right? To get these little boosts, and then that extra money that they bring in also builds to the compound interest, and then there's a nice little nest egg there for college for the kids. And just fun fact, if they decide not to go to college, there are options there. So you don't have to panic and be like, oh, well, if they don't go to college, the money's lost. That's not the case. Okay, so there are options there. Again, that would be worth tackling in its own episode. Then there's another account called the non-registered account. Those ones face capital gains tax. I don't know what the current rate of the capital gains tax is. I believe it's 50% of gains are taxable. Or if you're over 250,000, it's like 66% of gains are taxable. Yeah. Anyways, you do get hit with capital gains in your non-registered account. So you want to use a non-registered account because there are no limits on that one as much, but you are going to get hit with capital gains. So it's nice having, I would just say, nice having a balance of the accounts. That's certainly what I have, but you're going to have to do what fits right for you. Fun fact, you can hold things like U.S. stocks in your RRSP account to skip the U.S. withholding tax due to a tax treaty that we have with the U.S., right? If you put them in your TFSA or your non-registered, you will be paying the 15% withholding tax. So that's a choice you got to make. For U.S. citizens in Canada, avoid Canadian ETFs in non-registered accounts. So if you're a U.S. citizen living in Canada and you have a non-registered account here in Canada, you do not put Canadian ETFs in it. Apparently it triggers some like really complex U.S. filings. I don't know that much about it, but that's just a piece of advice that I've seen around. Apparently makes things really tricky. Okay, now with accounts sorted, I mean, obviously we just did a brief overview on all the accounts, the U.S. accounts, as best of my knowledge, because obviously I'm not an American citizen, and then the Canadian accounts. So with them sorted, let's talk about starting to invest. Because mama, you don't need a fortune to begin. Just like I don't need to have my degree plan perfect yet. But I'm still moving forward, right? I don't have it all figured out, but I'm moving forward. Apps like Wealthsimple in Canada or Fidelity in the US let you start with as little as you need to. Well, as little as $50. I think I had, when I first opened my non-registered account before I got my TFSA and my RSP in Wealthsimple, I started with like $10. Okay, you don't need You can start with a little amount. And the beauty with Wealthsimple, I cannot speak for the US ones. The beauty with Wealthsimple is you can buy fractional shares. So say the share, whether it be a stock or an ETF, is $50, and you don't have $50 to invest to buy one full share, you can buy a fraction of it. And it's beautiful. So it gets you started even if you can't afford the full amount. You can, choose from ETFs, stocks, bonds, whatever you need to. Obviously, diversify. This is true for anybody. This isn't me being a financial planner at this time giving you advice. I'm just telling you this is like common sense in the investing world. Diversify with a mix of things. I'm not going to tell you what balance you should have, but just definitely diversify. If you're a cross-border mama, like you're a U.S. citizen in Canada, be careful. Like I said in the last one, if you're if you have an RRSP account here in Canada, but you're a U.S. citizen, just be careful what you put in there, because it does create some tax issues, and I certainly don't want to see you stress out over that kind of stuff. So just be careful and be aware of what could happen there. Again, that can all be addressed in a proper episode for the RRSPs down the road. Just like when we did the budgeting and the emergency fund and the debt and all that, you can automate this too, by the way. You can automate small contributions. Maybe it's $25 a month, and you can just send it to the account. Just $25 a month goes to my TFSA, or $25 a month goes to my RRSPs or my non-registered account, whatever. Or, depending on your brokerage, so like in Canada, using Wealthsimple, which is my personal favorite, you can you can set the automation to just go in the account, but you can also set the automation to buy the specific stock or bond or ETF that you want to. So it doesn't just go sit in the account and then you got to do something with it. It just automatically buys it for you. So you have those options there. Think of it like sneaking veggies into your kids' mac and cheese, right? We've all done it. Small but mighty. Every dollar invested is, in fact, a seed for your family's dreams. You don't have to invest a lot. Even one single dollar every day makes a huge difference, right? Now, as you invest, one thing I want to say is you need to brace for market ups and downs. Economic uncertainty, like inflation or job shifts, can feel like a toddler tantrum, really. It's all over the place and unpredictable. Markets do dip, okay? The S&P averages about 7% annual returns after inflation. Don't sell in a panic, though. Think long term. So just because you see your investment go red for a while, even up to like a year or a couple years, the market always corrects itself and it will go up. Unless you're in a high risk stock, of course, that can obviously go to zero. But if you're in something more secure, don't panic. Don't panic. Think long term. Think of it like teaching your kid to skate. Falls do happen, but they'll glide eventually. Always eventually, right? It might take a while. Some kids doesn't take very long. Some kids take a long time. Something you want to do too is rebalance your portfolio. They say yearly. I don't know if I do it yearly, but anyways, to keep your stock and bond, ETF, mutual fund mix steady and what you're comfortable with, right? Reevaluate where you're at each time you do it, and decide what your goals are. Have they changed? And adjust appropriately. For cross-border mamas, currency exchange rates can affect returns, something to keep in mind. So focus on consistent investing. Don't try to time the market. Think of it like soothing a fussy baby. Stay calm, keep going, and trust the journey. Even if it's hard now, even if it's red now, it will be green eventually. Trust the journey. Just like we made budgeting, emergency funds, and debt a family affair, let's bring investing into the fold. Much like I'm sharing my degree dreams with my family, I talk about them daily with them, even the kids. Over coffee or tea, talk to your partner about investing goals, maybe a lake house or college funds. Set up a joint TFSA or brokerage account to save together, maybe, if that's what seems appropriate for you guys. For kids, you could explain by saying, we're growing money for our future. It's like planting a garden, planting a seed and watching it grow. You can let older kids track a stock, like Netflix, right? That's a fun one they all know, to learn patience. There's so many apps out there that they could even put it on their phone if they have a cell phone and just track it. There's even things called like paper trading. So it's not actual money, but they can learn how it all works by doing that. With life's choices in 2025, these moments where you get to like sit down and discuss the goals and all of that stuff with your family, it's like a nice warm hug uniting your family. Get everybody on the same page. Teaching kids about investing, it's like passing down a family recipe. It's a gift for life. If they learn it early, they're going to do it later and they're going to be better set up for their own retirements one day. Before we close, let's honor you, Mama. Every dollar you invest is a testament to your strength. Just like my push to finish my degree and maybe become a CFP. When you hit milestones like $500 invested or a 5% portfolio gain, celebrate small, maybe with quiet tea break or family movie night. Investing isn't just numbers. It's building security and joy for your family. You're not just growing wealth, you're creating space for dreams, and that's worth celebrating. As we finish our coffee or tea, let me remind you, you don't need to be a finance guru to invest. You're already carrying so much. Kids, dreams, maybe even college plans like me. And every small step, like investing $25 or opening an account, is enough. Investing is about planting seeds for your family's future, whether you're in the US or Canada. Start today, maybe with one fund or app, and let it grow gently. You've got this, Mama, and I'm cheering you on with all my heart. Thanks for joining me for this extra special longer episode. If you've got investing tips or want to chat about balancing kids and big goals like going back to school, let's share a virtual coffee. See you next time, and let's keep lifting each other up.